The first time Zira heard the sentence, she thought the translator had failed. The Galactic Cultural Archive displayed the warning in cold white letters. Human males eat their females after bonding. Zira's 3 hearts skipped at the same time. She leaned closer to the screen, her silver eyes narrowing. She reread the line, slowly, carefully. The words did not change. Eat. Their. Females. Zyre swallowed. On her homeworld of Virex, eating your mate was the darkest crime imaginable. Only mindless predators did that, beasts without control. Beings born on deathworlds. And humans. Humans were already labeled as dangerous. Calm yourself, Zira whispered, forcing her breathing to slow. This must be symbolic. But the archive kept going. Humans came from a high-gravity planet, violent storms, extreme temperatures, massive predators. Their species survived through endurance, aggression, and strange emotional bonding. The report called them pack-based apex survivors. Zira did not like that phrase at all. She was a cultural observer, trained to study alien species and report back to the Galactic Council. She had faced war clans, hive minds, and living machines. She had never once considered refusing a mission. Until now. A soft chime echoed through the chamber. Observer Zira. I said. You have been selected for direct exchange assignment. Destination, Earth. Her lower hands trembled. Direct exchange meant living with a human. Eating with a human. Being alone with a human. With a male. Zira looked back at the warning on the screen. Eat their females. Her species did not even have a word for that kind of fear. The transport arrived at Earth's orbital station 3 cycles later. Zira stood inside the docking bay, her long cloak hiding her thin frame. Around her, humans moved with loud steps and fast motions. Their voices were deep, rough, and careless. Too loud. Too confident. Predators, her instincts screamed. She kept her eyes down, copying the posture of submission she had studied. Do not challenge. Do not provoke. Do not run. Running triggered chases. A human officer approached her. He smiled. Zira nearly bolted. Welcome to Earth, the officer said in simple galactic common. Your exchange partner is waiting. Partner. The word echoed painfully in her mind. They led her through clean metal halls into a smaller chamber. One human stood alone. Inside, he was taller than most, broad shoulders, thick arms. His hair was dark, his face calm. His eyes brown, warm, and focused lifted when she entered. This was him, the human male. Zira's hearts pounded. This was how it began, isolation, calm behavior. Luring the prey into false safety. The male stepped forward slowly, palms open. I'm Ethan, he said. I'll be your host. Host. Another bad word. Zira forced herself to speak. I am Zira, cultural observer of Virex. Ethan nodded. It's nice to meet you. Nice. As if this were not a potential death sentence. They traveled to the surface. In silence, Zira watched Earth through the shuttle window. Green land, blue oceans. A beautiful world. A deadly one. Ethan's home was small but orderly. Soft lighting. Clean air. No visible weapons. That worried her more than if there had been weapons. Predators, who hid their claws, were the most dangerous. You can stay here, Ethan said, showing her a room. You'll be safe. Safe. Zyra repeated the word in her mind. Like a shield. Hours passed. Ethan kept his distance. He did not stare. He did not threaten. He even avoided sudden movements. It was unsettling. Then Zira heard it. The sound of metal on metal. A sharp chop. Then another. Her eyes widened. She followed the noise quietly, every nerve alert. From the doorway, she saw Ethan standing in a small room filled with strange tools. The kitchen. In his hand was a large knife. He brought it down again. Chop. Zyre. A single quote's breath caught. This was a preparation. Her training told her not to panic, but her instincts screamed louder. The archive warning replayed in her mind, over and over. Human males eat their females. Ethan moved with calm focus, cutting food on a flat surface. Heat rose from a metal box. The smell was rich, unfamiliar, almost comforting. Almost. Zira's claws dug into the doorframe. He turned suddenly and noticed her. "Oh," Ethan said. "I didn't hear you." The knife was still in his hand. Her heart froze. "I'm making dinner," he continued, smiling slightly. "I hope you're hungry." Hungry? Zira took a slow step back. Dinner. In that moment, Zira was certain of one thing. Whatever humans truly were, she was about to find out the hard way. Zira did not sleep. She lay on the narrow bed in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, listening to every sound the human house made. The quiet was worse than noise. On Varex, silence meant a predator was waiting. Her mind kept replaying the image. Ethan, the knife, the word dinner. She wrapped her cloak tighter around herself. Humans hunted differently, she reminded herself. Ambush, deception, comfort before attack, eat their females. The phrase burned in her thoughts. A soft sound came from the other side of the wall. Footsteps. Slow, heavy. Zira's muscles locked. Footsteps stopped. A moment passed. Then the sound moved away. She released a breath. She did not realize she was holding. The next morning, sunlight filled the house. Zira stood near the window, watching Earth wake up. Birds flew freely. Humans walked outside, laughing, carrying cups of hot liquid. No fear, no signs of constant danger. How could a species like this be so normal? Ethan appeared in the doorway, keeping a respectful distance. "Good morning," he said. "I made something simple, no pressure." He placed a small plate on the table and stepped back. Food. Zira stared at it. Warm bread, fruit, a cup of something dark that smelled strong. She waited. Nothing happened. No sudden movement. No trap. Ethan sat across the room, not watching her, not rushing her. This confused her more than aggression would have. On Varex, feeding was an act of dominance. The stronger took first. The weaker waited or starved. Here, the human waited for her. Slowly, carefully, Zira took a small bite. It was good. Her eyes widened despite herself. Ethan noticed and smiled. "You like it?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Yes." The human's smile grew warmer, not sharper. No predator showed happiness when prey accepted food. This behavior did not match any pattern she knew. Throughout the day, Zira observed everything. Ethan cleaned the living space. He worked on a small device, typing calmly. When Zira startled at a loud noise outside, he moved between her and the sound without thinking. Protective. Not possessive. Not aggressive. That made her uneasy. Predators did not protect unless they planned to claim later. By the third day, Zira began sending secret reports to the Galactic Council. Human behavior inconsistent with archive threat level. She typed. Male. Subject displays restraint, patience, and care. She paused, then added, possibility of delayed bonding phase. She did not know what bonding looked like for humans. The archive was unclear. Or maybe it was written by species who never bothered to truly understand them. That evening, Ethan spoke again. "I was thinking," he said, standing near the kitchen. "We could eat together tonight. It's kind of important to humans." Zira's blood ran cold. Eat together. Bonding ritual. This was the moment. She straightened her posture, forcing herself to appear calm. "Why is it important?" Ethan shrugged. "Sharing food builds trust. It means you're welcome." Welcome. The word sounded too gentle for something so terrifying. They sat across from each other at the table. The distance between them felt too small. Zira noticed his hands, strong, steady, capable of great harm. He served her first. Another mistake, her instinct said. He was reversing roles to confuse her. Zyra's heart pounded as she lifted her utensil. This could be the last peaceful moment of her life. She watched Ethan closely as they ate. He did not rush. He did not stare. He asked her simple questions about Virex, about her sky, her oceans, her music. No Hunter asked about music. Her fear wavered. Then it happened. Ethan reached across the table. Zyra froze completely. This was it. Her body prepared for pain. Instead, he gently moved a plate closer to her. You didn't finish, he said softly. You need energy. Energy. Not ownership. Not hunger. Care. Something inside Zyra cracked. After dinner, she retreated to her room, shaking not with fear, but confusion. Nothing had happened. No attack. No harm. No teeth. Just food. Shared. That night, Zyra accessed the archive again. She searched deeper, beyond the warnings, beyond the summaries. Buried records appeared. Old reports. Poor translations. Incomplete context. She read one line slowly. Humans eat with their females as a sign of bonding. With, not eat them. Zyra's eyes widened. Another file explained further. Human males often cook for those they care about. Feeding is associated with protection, comfort, and emotional attachment. Zyra leaned back, stunned. The truth hit her harder than any threat ever had. The galaxy had misunderstood humans. Badly. She thought of Ethan in the kitchen. The knife, the food, the patience. Not a predator preparing a kill, a protector preparing a meal. Her communicator blinked with an incoming message. Galactic Council priority alert. She opened it. Observer Zyra. New intelligence suggests humans may pose a greater threat than anticipated. Further evaluation required. Zyra stared at the words. A greater threat? Her gaze drifted to the closed door of her room. To the human who had done nothing but show kindness. For the first time since arriving on Earth, Zyra felt fear again. Not of humans, but for them. Zyra stood in the kitchen doorway, her mind racing. The new archive files repeated in her thoughts. Again and again. Eat with their females. Feeding equals care. Bonding through shared meals. The words should have brought relief. Instead, they brought a different kind of fear. If humans bonded through food, then how deep did that bond go? On Virex, bonds were weak by design. Attachments led to pain. Loss made leaders hesitate. Her species believed distance was strength. Humans, it seemed, believed the opposite. Ethan's voice broke her thoughts. Hey, you okay? He stood near the counter, not too close, not too far. He always did that. Always careful. Yes, Zyra said after a pause. I am processing. He smiled lightly. Yeah, humans do that too. That made her look at him. Humans processed emotions instead of hiding them. A dangerous habit for a species so powerful. That evening, Ethan decided to teach her something. Humans have a custom, he said, placing several small containers on the table. We cook together sometimes. It's not required. Just shared work. Shared work during bonding? Zyra's instincts tightened, but curiosity pushed her forward. She nodded. I will observe. Ethan handed her a simple tool, not sharp, not threatening. This is safe, he said quickly, noticing her hesitation. I promised. Double quotes promised. On Virex, promises were meaningless. Only contracts mattered. Yet Ethan treated the word like it carried weight. They stood side by side. Not touching. Still too close. He showed her how to cut soft vegetables. Slow movements, clear steps. He let her work at her own pace. At one point, Zyra's hand slipped. Before she could react, Ethan gently guided her hand away from the edge. His touch was brief, careful, protective. Zyra's heart jumped, not in fear, but surprise. He pulled back immediately. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you, She stared at him. You prevented injury. Yeah, he said simply. That's normal. Normal. To Zira, it felt significant. As they cooked, Zira asked the question that had been burning inside her. Why do humans feed those they care about? Ethan thought for a moment. I guess food means survival. If I make sure you eat, it means I want you to live, to be strong. Her breath caught. On Varex, only parents thought that way. And if the one you feed becomes weak? She asked quietly. Then you feed them more, Ethan replied. Until they're okay. Zira had no response to that. They ate together again that night. The fear was weaker now, replaced by something unfamiliar. Warmth. After dinner, Ethan sat back inside. Long day. Zira studied him carefully. This male had the strength to kill her easily. Yet he chose patience, care, restraint. The galaxy feared the wrong thing. Later, Zira joined a secure call with the Galactic Council. Her image appeared before a group of distant, powerful beings. Report, a voice commanded. Zira hesitated. Humans. Do not consume their females, she said carefully. The translation is incorrect. Silence followed. One must be mistaken, another voice said. The archives are clear. The archives are wrong, Zira replied, firmer now. Humans bond through feeding, through care. A ripple of unease spread across the council. Emotional bonding is weakness, the first voice said. Such attachment makes them unpredictable. Zira felt something tighten inside her. No, she said. It makes them dangerous in a different way. The council leaned in. When humans care, Zira continued, they do not stop. They protect. They sacrifice. They endure. Silence again. Finally, the council spoke. Continue observation. Maintain proximity. The transmission ended. Zira lowered her communicator slowly. Maintain proximity. She looked toward the living room, where Ethan sat quietly reading. The galaxy wanted her close to him. And for the first time, Zira realized the truth. The real danger was not that humans ate their loved ones. It was that once they cared, they never let go. Zira woke before dawn. Earth was quiet at this hour, wrapped in soft, gray light. She stood near the window, watching the slow movement of clouds. On Varex, mornings were loud. Engines, signals, commands. Silence was rare. Here, silence felt safe. That realization unsettled her. She was not supposed to feel safe on a death world. Behind her, the house stirred. Ethan moved through the hallway, careful not to make noise. He noticed her standing there and stopped. Couldn't sleep? He asked softly. Zira nodded. My thoughts were loud. Ethan gave a small smile. Yeah, happens. He did not ask more. Humans respected quiet in a way the archives never mentioned. Later that day, news filled every human channel. Zira watched from the side as Ethan stood in front of the screen, his expression changing. Ships had been detected near Earth's outer range, unknown origin. Large numbers. Her translator processed the data fast. Galactic Council signatures. Her hearts tightened. Ethan turned to her. Something's wrong out there. Zira hesitated. Then she did something she was not ordered to do. She told the truth. The galaxy fears your species, she said. They believe humans are too dangerous to exist freely. Ethan stared at her. Because we eat each other? He asked, half joking. Zyra did not smile. Because you care, she said. That wiped the humor from his face. She explained everything. The mistranslation, the fear, the belief that emotional bonding made humans unstable and uncontrollable. When she finished, Ethan was quiet for a long time. Finally he spoke. So they're scared of us because we protect our own? Zira nodded. Yes, he exhaled slowly. That's sad. Sad. Not angry. Not violent. Sad that the first warning sirens echoed across the city that night. Ethan moved fast. grabbing supplies, checking systems, securing doors. His calm did not break. His voice stayed steady. Zira watched closely. A predator would prepare weapons. A protector prepared shelter. "Stay close to me," Ethan said, handing her a small communicator. "If anything happens, don't run alone." Her instincts twisted. On Varex, self-preservation meant separation, yet here, staying close meant safety. She followed him. Outside, the sky changed. Strange lights burned through the clouds. Massive shapes moved in orbit above the planet. The invasion had begun. Zira received a direct message on her channel. Galactic Council. "Step away from the human. You will be extracted." Her hands trembled. She looked at Ethan, who stood between her and the open window, unaware of the message. If she obeyed, she would be safe. If she stayed... Ethan spoke without turning. "Whatever's happening, I've got you." He did not know how true those words were. Zira closed the message without replying. The first shockwave hit far away, but the ground still shook. Humans ran in the streets, helping each other, pulling strangers into shelter. No panic. No chaos. Unity.zyr single quotes S communicator buzzed again. "Council, humans are mobilizing." Their response confirms our fears. She watched as Ethan stepped outside to help a neighbor who had fallen. He lifted the injured human easily, carrying them to safety. No hesitation. No concern for himself. Her voice shook as she sent her reply. "Observer Zira, you misunderstand them." The response was immediate. "Council, too late. Termination protocol approved." Zira's blood turned cold. Termination. She rushed outside. The sky tore open as energy weapons fired from orbit. Explosions bloomed like artificial suns. Ethan grabbed her arm, pulling her close. "Hey, stay with me." She looked up at him, her eyes burning. "They are going to destroy your world," she said. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we'll protect it," he said simply. In that moment, Zira understood everything the galaxy had failed to see. Humans did not eat their loved ones. They stood in front of them, and when threatened, they became something far more terrifying than any predator. The sky burned. From the shelter doorway, Zira watched streaks of fire cross Earth's atmosphere. Alien ships hung above the planet like silent judges. Each flash of light shook the ground, but humans did not freeze. They moved. Ethan pulled Zira down into cover as debris fell nearby. His body shielded hers without thought. The impact slammed into his back, but he did not cry out. "Stay low," he said. "I won't let anything hit you." Her heart pounded not from fear of death, but from the weight of that promise. Ana Ipauku. Varex, no one promised protection during war. Survival was an individual task. Here, humans treated it as a shared duty. Sirens wailed. Emergency signals flooded the air. Yet everywhere Zira looked, humans helped each other, carrying children, guiding the injured, sharing supplies. No screaming panic. No collapse. Only resolve. Zira's communicator vibrated again. "Council. Final. Extraction window open. Leave the human now." She stared at the message. Extraction meant safety. A ship, distance from the battlefield. A return to everything she knew. She looked at Ethan instead. He was helping seal the shelter doors, sweat and ash streaking his face. His hands shook from exhaustion, but he kept working. He glanced at her. "You okay?" She nodded slowly. Another explosion rocked the city. The lights flickered. Zira made her decision. She typed a single response. Observer, Zira. I refuse extraction. For the first time in her career, she disobeyed the council. The shelter filled quickly. Humans packed together, sharing space without complaint. Someone handed Zira a blanket. Another offered water. No one asked what species she was. Only if she was safe. Ethan stayed near her, his presence steady. When the ground shook again, He placed himself between her and the wall. "Why do you do that?" Zira asked suddenly. He frowned. "Do what? Protect others before yourself." Ethan thought for a moment. "Because if I don't, who will?" The answer hit her harder than any explosion. On Varex, the strong ruled. On Earth, the strong served. Hours passed. The attacks intensified. Reports came through scattered signals. Human defense fleets launched. Not to conquer. Not to chase. To hold the line. Zira listened as human commanders spoke. Their voices were calm, focused, clear. Evacuation first. Protect the cities. Do not fire near population centers. The galaxy had expected chaos. Instead, it found discipline. A sudden blast tore part of the shelter ceiling open. Dust and fire rained down. People screamed. Ethan reacted instantly, pushing Zira behind a support beam as debris crashed where she had stood seconds earlier. Pain flashed across his face. Blood ran down his arm. "Ethan," Zira grabbed him. "I'm fine," he said, though he clearly wasn't. She pressed her hands to the wound, her training forgotten. Her species healed with technology, not touch, but she could not stand still. Ethan looked at her, surprised. "You don't have to do that," he said. "Yes," Zira replied, voice firm. "I do." For the first time she understood what it meant to care. Her communicator activated without her command. The Council's voice filled her mind. "Observe, the humans refuse to retreat. Their emotional bonds are increasing combat effectiveness." Zira clenched her jaw. "They are not fighting because of emotion," she said aloud. "They are fighting because of responsibility." Silence followed. Then a new message appeared. "If humans survive this, they will change the balance of the galaxy." Zira looked at Ethan again. At the man bleeding but still standing, still protecting. "Yes," she whispered. "They will." Above them, the battle raged on. And somewhere, in orbit, the galaxy began to understand its mistake. But it was already too late to turn back. The night did not end. It stretched on, heavy and burning, as if the sky itself refused to rest. Outside the shelter, the sound of battle changed. It was no longer distant thunder. It was closer now, sharp cracks, deep booms, and the low hum of engines that shook the air. Zira felt it in her bones. The humans were no longer just defending. They were responding. Ethan helped secure the last injured civilians with the others. His arm was wrapped tightly, but he ignored the pain. Every time someone cried out, he moved toward the sound. Zira followed him. She noticed something strange. The humans were afraid, but they were not breaking. Fear existed, yes, but it did not control them. It pushed them forward. On Varex, fear caused retreat. On Earth, fear created resolve. A human officer entered the shelter, his uniform torn and burned. "We have orders," he said loudly. "Civilians are moving underground. Defense units are forming outside the city." Ethan turned to Zira. "You should stay here." Zira looked at him. "You are going outside." "Yeah," he replied simply. "To fight," she said. "To protect." He corrected. She felt her hearts tighten. On Varex, observers never stayed near conflict. They recorded from afar. Distance kept reports clean, but distance also kept truth out. "I am staying with you," Zira said. Ethan hesitated. "It's dangerous." She met his eyes. "So are you." For a moment, he studied her face. Then he nodded. "All right. Stay close." They stepped outside. The city was scarred. Buildings burned. Streets were broken. But everywhere, humans moved with purpose. Small groups formed lines. Others guided civilians deeper underground. Above them, human ships rose to meet the alien fleet. Zira watched in shock. The human ships were smaller, weaker by design. But they moved with coordination. They covered each other. When one ship took damage, Two others shifted to shield it. No one was abandoned. A voice echoed across open channels. Hold the line. Protect the ground. Do not let them through. The same message. Over and over. Protect. Suddenly, a blast hit nearby. The ground erupted. Ethan was thrown back hard. Ethan! Zira screamed. She rushed to him, her cloak torn, her breath wild. He lay still for a terrifying second. Then he groaned. I'm okay, he said weakly. Just winded. She helped him sit up. Her hands shook as she touched his face, checking for damage. Why does this hurt? She thought. She had seen war before. She had seen death. But this felt different. Because this human mattered. Her communicator activated again. The council's image appeared, sharp and cold. Observer Zira, the voice said. You are too close. Withdraw immediately. Zira looked up at the sky, at the burning ships, at the humans standing their ground. No, she said. The council paused. Explain. Humans are not unstable, Zira said. They are not mindless predators. They are bonded protectors. That is the problem, the council replied. They will fight beyond reason. Zira's voice hardened. They fight beyond fear. As if to prove her words, something changed in the battle. The alien fleet pushed closer, and the humans answered. New ships launched from hidden bases. Ground defenses activated that Zira had not seen in any records. Not weapons of destruction, but systems designed to block, shield, and delay. To buy time. Time for civilians. Time for each other. Ethan stood again, steadying himself on a wall. They're not backing down, he said quietly. No, Zira replied. They never do. A massive alien vessel broke through the clouds, descending toward the city. Zira felt true fear then. That ship can destroy this entire area, she said. Ethan looked up, jaw set. Then we stop it. How? She asked. He pointed. Human pilots flew straight toward it. Not away. Straight at it. Zira's breath caught. They will die, she whispered. Ethan shook his head. Not if they can help it. The human ship struck the larger vessel in coordinated waves. Not to destroy it, but to push it off course, one by one. The smaller ships took damage. None retreated. Finally, the massive alien vessel veered away, crashing far from the city. Cheers erupted around them. Humans embraced. Some cried. Some laughed. Through tears, Ethan closed his eyes for a moment. Zira stared at him. At them all. This was the truth the galaxy never understood. Humans did not fight to win. They fought so others could live, and once they chose to protect someone, they would burn the sky itself to keep that promise. Morning finally came. The sky over Earth was no longer burning. Smoke drifted where stars had once been hidden by warships. The ground was broken, the city scarred, but it was still standing. So were the humans. Zira stood beside Ethan as rescue crews moved through the streets. The sounds were different now, not alarms. Not weapons, voices, relief. Quiet laughter mixed with tears. Human ships held position in the sky, not chasing the retreating alien fleet. They did not seek revenge. They stayed where they were needed. To protect, Zira's communicator activated one last time. The Galactic Council appeared, their forms tense and silent. The operation has failed, one voice said. Human resistance exceeded all predictions. Zira stepped forward. Because your predictions were wrong, silence followed. They did not fight to conquer, she continued. They did not fight out of hunger or instinct. She glanced at Ethan, who was helping an injured stranger stand. They fought because they care. The council shifted uncomfortably. Such a species is too dangerous, another voice said. They will reshape the galaxy. Yes, Zira replied calmly. But not by force. She transmitted her final report. Humans are not predators who consume their mates. They are guardians who feed, protect, and endure. When bonded, human, Males do not eat their females. They stand in front of them. The council said nothing. The transmission ended. Later, as the city began to heal, Ethan sat on the steps outside his damaged home. His arm was bandaged properly now. Exhaustion weighed on him, but his eyes were clear. Zyra sat beside him. "The galaxy feared you," she said softly. Ethan gave a tired smile. "Guess they still do. They fear you for the wrong reason." Zyra said, "They think love makes you weak." He looked at her then. Really looked. "And what do you think?" Zyra watched humans around them. Neighbors helping neighbors. Strangers sharing food. Children laughing even after everything. "I think love makes you unstoppable," she said. Ethan nodded slowly. "Yeah, that sounds about right." In the weeks that followed, the story spread across the stars. Not of human weapons. Not of human strength, but of human choice. Worlds that once feared Earth now watched it carefully. Some sent messages. Others sent aid. A few sent apologies. The archive entry was changed. Old record: human males eat their females after bonding. New record: human males feed those they bond with. They protect them. They endure for them. Zyra chose to stay on Earth, not as an observer, but as a witness. Because some truths could not be understood from a distance, they had to be lived. And the galaxy would never forget the lesson it learned that day. Humans were not terrifying because they were strong. They were terrifying because they cared, and once a human chose you as their own, they would face the universe itself to keep you safe.